Hi folks, I'm Matt and welcome to My Expanded Universe, a show where I go through the entire EU in chronological order as best I know how. Folks, we are on book 12. Can you believe it? In the Young Jedi Knights series, and it just keeps getting better. This one's called Return to Ord Mantell. Yep, that's right. Han Solo, the twins, and Zek all go to Ord Mantell because they're going to see the Blockade Runners Derby, where Han is given the grand title of Grand Marshal. He's going to be the Grand Marshal, the one who's going to start the race and everything. So that's why he's going down there. Now, of course, Zek and Jana are kind of a thing. You know, it was softly. Kevin J. Anderson and Rebecca Moster were hoping the fans were really going for this. I was a big Zek fan, Zek and Jana fan. Of course I was. I'm the opposite of whatever the fandom is, right? Now remember, at this point, we hadn't seen Jagged Fail enter the picture yet. But Zek, I thought, was a good match for Jana. But anyway, I digress on that. So what happens is they go to Ord Mantell and they come across someone, a girl named Anja. You know what her last name is? Galandro. Yeah, the old villain way back in Brian Daley's Han Solo trilogy. You see, this is his daughter, and she's a little bit older than the kids. But she is mad. She's a lot older than the kids, actually. Now I think about that. That'd be kind of weird if she was just a little year. How do you have kids when he was dead? Anyway, Anja's mad because Han Solo killed her father. Now, if you remember the Brian Daley novels, that's not what happened. But she doesn't know. She thinks that it was Han. And Han's like, no, Galandro got himself in trouble. It wasn't me that killed him. And he's trying to tell her that, but she wants to kill him. And Anja's got a lightsaber too. Is she a Jedi? She can even work the lightsaber, you know, and fend off against the kids. You're like, whoa, so Galandro was force sensitive? I thought he was just the best shot in the world. No, Galandro wasn't force sensitive, and neither was his wife, and neither is Anja. You see, there's another twist going on here. Anja's true purpose is she's working with Black Sun and someone called Zethros. And Zethros hates Han Solo and wants to kill him. Now, Anja wants to kill him too because she does think, you know, oh, well, yeah, he killed my dad. But the thing is that she's really working, she's a spy for Black Sun is what she is, and trying to infiltrate the Solos. And, of course, the ultimate goal is the death of Han Solo. And at this point, we find that out later on, but none of the kids, none of the Solos know this at this point. I love the double fake here. I love how when they bring in Galandro, which, by the way, the Brian Daley trilogy, this was the first time I'd ever seen it referenced in the EU. Usually those old Del Rey novels, Lando Calrissian trilogy, which in my mind has no connections to anything in the EU, Splinter of the Mind's Eye was never mentioned again, and neither was Brian Daley's Han Solo trilogy. And that's a shame because I told you it's one of my favorite trilogies in Star Wars, period. So when they mentioned Galandro, I'm like, shut up. We're finally getting a connection from an old Brian Daley novel, and I was loving it. And that shows you right there that Kevin J. Anderson knew his audience. He knew that older people were going to be buying these young adult books, and he wanted to give them something to get excited about as well. Even though it's a throwaway, you know, it's a fake, it's a red herring. That's not her true purpose, but she's working for Black Sun. But yeah, it makes sense that she would want Han Solo dead. So eventually they'll calm her down and she'll be friends with the Solos, though she's not, right? She secretly works for Black Sun. Now, another fun little fact about this story is Kevin J. Anderson intended the Zethros to be Score from the Marvel comic books. If you remember Score, or I think it was the comic strips, the comic strips. Well, he said, oh, whatever happened to him? Let me do a story about him. This thing almost went to print, folks, before someone figured out, wait a minute, Score's dead. They already killed him, so it can't be Score. So last minute they had to go in there and change the name Score to Zethros, which is why Zethros, or however you pronounce his name, looks very similar or sounds very similar to Score, because he was supposed to be. In fact, the whole time I'm reading it, I thought he was Score. I just forgot Score's name when I was reading. I said, oh, this is that bounty hunter from those old comic books. that I read. I was like, yeah, awesome. And I totally forgot that Skor had died too, back when I first read it through. But that's why they changed his name. And when they changed his name, I looked up and said, well, why is he different? And then later on it was revealed that, oh, Kevin J. Anderson even forgot that Skor had been killed, so they had to replace him with a different name. That's crazy, right? It's almost going to print before someone realizes that, oh, your main villain, he already died. But then again, who would care, right? Who cares? Who's read young adult kids reading old Brian Daley novels? That would never happen. No, because Star Wars respected their fans and knew the fans would know that. And so they caught that mistake and fixed it, and it was all good. So what happens moving forward with Anja and the Solos and Black Sun and Zethros? Well, you have to find out next time with another video.